Welcome to the Mindset by Design podcast with your host, the expert Andy Murphy, where you will learn the tips, tricks, and strategies he teaches his world-class clients to give you the skills to dominate any business.
What's going on, Mindset by Design crew, and welcome to 2021. And welcome to episode 290. Hope you're amazing. As always, I really do. And what the crazy thing is about this episode is I'd already recorded it. It was amazing. It really was. It was a really heartfelt episode. I ranted on for about 25 minutes at the start, setting everyone's mind up, brain up, getting over the emotion, the roller coaster of 2020, priming their brain to set up the patterns, behaviors, habits, belief systems, automatic ways of thinking so you can become your best version of you, right? Well, guess what? It got deleted. It was so sad. But what can I do? Nothing. So we got to do it again. So it is the 4th. I actually put the other one out just after Christmas. I think it was actually on the 27th. So hey, this is life. And just like 2020, we can keep focusing on what has been, or we can just make a new decision. And the new decision is how we want to experience 2021. I'll say that again. We can make a decision right here together, right now, that does what? Yes, it opens up a new way of seeing the future or the world, right? Because what happens is we get boxed in by these small boundary conditions or boxes of beliefs, right? Boxes of what we perceive as possible. And the thing is about each year that moves forwards, the previous year, well, the way I teach this is that was a neural box, right? A neural net, a pattern, a box that is just being conditioned through your old way of thinking. Well, the thing is about this year, this is why I love my birthdays. I love New Year's. Why? Because it allows us to press reboot. It allows us to press restart. And at the end of the day, we all know what 2020 was. It was a little chaos, right? But why was it chaos? Okay, yes, there's a bit of a pandemic. Okay, yes, there's viruses bouncing around the world that we don't really know how to control. I don't know if it's been any different. I just think social media and media now lets you know really what's going on instantly, right? So that's a conditioning, okay? So if you watched everything about, I don't know, Elon Musk going to Mars, right? If you watched every day, everything you could find about Elon Musk taking us to Mars, how are you going to be thinking? What's your focus going to be, right? What's going to be the dominant thoughts in your head? Is it going to be the beach? No, it's going to be what? You got it, right? It's going to be about Elon Musk. So I want you to understand your brain is a muscle, or it works very much like a muscle, right? And so when we start adding the neuroscience elements in, it means that we can condition the brain to respond a certain way. So what does that mean? It means you can see money a certain way. It means that you can see the next stage of your business a certain way, or how to solve a problem in your income stream, business, or life in a different way, right? So when we can expand you into a different level of thinking, everything changes, right? Everything changes. Who you're going to be, right? And this is a common statement, but who you're going to become by the time you achieve your goals is unrecognizable. I mean this. It's unrecognizable to the way you're seeing the world right now. It's true. It's absolutely true. When you look into really high level brands, like people, like CEOs and founders I've looked into the minds of who are running like $300 million businesses, right? And the thing is about them, I've also worked with them when they were just starting off that business. and the growth in their belief, their expectation, how they value their own worth, right? How they solve problems, the speed they make decisions, right? The ability to shift from a negative to a positive. All of these things, it doesn't just happen by accident. It doesn't. It happens by getting mental performance. And this is what Mindset by Design is all about. And this is what all of my brands are all about. It's for one thing. This is not self-help. It's just not. What this is the next level. This is mental performance using NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, which I'm a world-class expert at. And what else? Yeah, we got concepts of neuroscience, behavioral psychology, so many different ways, a sprinkle of spirituality through all of this, because I think we need it. And we combine that all together, and what do we create? Someone who's absolutely world-class. Someone who has their mind on fire. What I call a fire mind or a fire state, right? That is the ultimate version of you, right? Where everything's lit up. You know what it's like when we get these such incredible ideas, right? It feels like it's so clear. The image is so clear of how we're going to launch this business. And then the momentum takes us and we're going for it. And everything's exciting and everything's pumped up and everyone's talking about the future and the energy is awesome. Then what happens? Well, once we get that initial rush of dopamine, right? What happens? Well, the old programs or patterns or behaviors come in, right? So once the dopamine dips because of novelty, what happens then is the old patterns kick in, and if the old patterns or the patterns in your brain, the software, is not what we want it to be, then guess what happens? Yeah, we're running outdated software. So every year that goes by, we've got to make sure that we redirect everything. We update ourselves. We update our thinking, our feelings, our actions, our decisions, how we want to experience the world. We have to update these things. We have to look at your business model a new way, an expansive way. We've got to make sure it's in alignment, right? We've got to look at your branding. We've got to look at all of that stuff. But why? It's simply, are you delivering your message the right way? And this all comes from you being in the right place. And I mean this, right? Because those times where you've been on fire, how is your motivation? Right? How's your drive? How's your passion? Right? Are you constantly moving forwards with unapologetic drive? Well, that's beautiful. Remember that now. Because that's what we need to bring into 2021. That immense intensity to get things accomplished. Because we don't know what's going to happen this year. It's wild, right? We don't know what happened last year. We still don't know what's going on from last year. But what it means is that we have to take full responsibility. Yes. Full responsibility for every thought, every action, every decision, whether we're going to get what we want this year or not. Plain and simple. It starts with the first thought of the day and what direction we point our nervous system, chemicals, brain, or more importantly, us. Yeah, what do we really want? Because when we can get clarity on that, then guess what? Everything else drops away. And as long as we keep pumping that muscle, the old beliefs, circumstances, focus, mistakes, pains drift away. And when they get triggered, this new muscle is so big and thick and strong of who we are that it would become bulletproof. And what does that mean? Bulletproof means limitless. Bulletproof means conditioned, like an MMA fighter, mixed martial arts fighter, so they get hit. And it doesn't hurt the same way because we've experienced it many times. And when we start to look at this from this higher level perspective, when we look down on your life right now, what do we want to change, upgrade? What do we want to let go of? What do we want to enhance? Because the thing is about this, everybody or so much is taught about strategies and tactics and systems. But the thing about those strategies, tactics, and systems is they do work. But they only work if you're mentally conditioned the same way. And if you're not, what happens is the growth happens and you sabotage it. Or you look for shiny object syndrome. Or you get the idea. So this is all about this year. Making sure together we hit that next level. We get what you want. Sound good? Good. My final question to you is, if not now, when? When? You're going to wait another week or two before we get motivated and driven, before we make the right decision? It's up to you, right? So, yes, I've gone on a little rant today. The other rant on the other podcast that got deleted was even more epic. But hey, together, let's go and get this year. Let's go and get everything that we want. And it all starts in the morning. It does. It starts on specific routines, but one of the biggest things that we can do for ourselves is in the morning. We switch our brain on, the right pattern that we want, right? The right way of thinking, feeling, acting about our future, the past, the money, ourselves, success, the decisions we're going to make that day, and even our motivation, right? Imagine if you could, in 15 minutes, put headphones in, let brainwaves drop you into the software and the imagination. And from there, imagine if you could be your best every single day. And we condition it. Would that be helpful? Of course it would be helpful, right? So guess what? You are in luck. It is time for you to click on those show notes because guess what? You now can go and get your mind on fire every morning with the FireMind morning audio. Yes, I'm going to drop you into trance. Yes, I'm going to drop you into those brainwaves. Yes, I'm going to use NLP and neuroscience and to guide your imagery, to tune up your nervous system and brain and make you on fire. Sound good? Awesome. Guess what? Today, limited time, it's free. Yeah, it's free. So you can go and get that right now. The other link that you want to be getting is in the incubator group on Facebook, Mindset by Design Incubator Group. Come and join with me over there. And yeah, that's it. Go and help yourself. All the other links are going to drop away. I want you now to go and get your FireMind audio. FireMind.me. Like it? FireMind.me. FireMind me. So go and get that for yourself and let's make this amazing. Let's make this year amazing. And speaking of amazing, today's episode, I want you to make sure that you got your notepad and pen. This is a clip from a very exclusive training that I've done for privately. And I just wanted to give you a little taste to set you up for the new year. This is probably important that you pay attention to it and don't be driving, right? Be at home or somewhere so you can really think. If you need to listen to it a couple of times, that's okay. If you're driving, you might want to listen to it separately for sure. We actually cover some really cool stuff. It's like seeing what's playing in your unconscious mind. There's so many things that are going on. I want you to be safe, enjoy this, and again, go into the incubator group on Facebook because I'm going to actually put the full training in there, including the actual hypnosis or the installation or whatever you want to call it at the end, which really drops into the unconscious mind, which is the secret sauce. So I'm going to put that into the incubator group on Facebook. So make sure you're there as well. So let's jump into today's episode. Remember, firemind.me is where you should be going. And head over to the incubator group. So get your notepad and pen and let's jump in to today's episode. Enjoy. I'll see you at the end of the show. Today is about setting you up for 2021. And there's a few different ways we're going to do this, okay? So it doesn't matter what's happened this year, good, bad, amazing. Guess what? life keeps moving, life keeps flowing. So we've always got to stay ahead. I always say this statement to myself. If I'm still doing and thinking the same things as I was last week, I'm not moving forwards. There's no growth there, right? So what happens in sales especially is that we can get comfortable or we can get a little bit complacent. And so what we got to understand about performance is that this, nothing you don't know, but this is a muscle. We need to keep pumping it, okay? That's the point. This is a daily muscle. And what happens when we are not potentially working for a week or even a few days or even a week, we can get out of specific routines that keep this muscle pumping, right? So what I want everyone to know today as we go through this stuff is that it's going to be quite a bit of writing today, okay? Rather than me, and then I'm going to do an visual install with everyone at the end to put this in. But the thing is about this, is everyone's working for, but every single person, all of you, including myself, we're all doing it for our own unique reasons, our own drives, our own motivators, our own whys, right? So what happens is, for example, when something becomes so personal, the motivation to close, drive forwards, or do the extra 2 millimeters like I showed you last week, it means so much. So, for example, working with, in the past, I worked with a lot of traders and people like that, right? So traders generally are interested in one thing, making money. They're not interested in helping serve the world. They're interested in accumulating, making money. Good, bad, right, wrong, whatever you want. That's a different subject. But what happens with a trader, it's very pressurized. And what happens is they get into that mindset of just making money, putting it into the bank and buying new stuff. And what happens is when you hit a certain level, that same motivation isn't there anymore. Once they get comfortable to a certain level of success or money, then guess what? The drive or the intensity to get that money isn't there the same way. So what happens is we have to look at another way to create a driver or a motivator in ourselves. And I say this for a reason. So the way I taught the egotistical people who are stuck in ego, I go in and we find their personal driver. And so, for example, I'll use this as an example. If someone's not motivated, but I'm not saying this is the case, but if we then, every deal that they closed that directly affected a child's life, and you got to shake that child's hand every time that deal got closed, how many deals are you closing extra? How more motivated are you? How more driven are you, right? Because the purpose, the mission, the why, or what you're serving is so much bigger, right? And I say this for a reason. Every one of us has a personal drive, a personal motivator. There's a reason why we're doing this. Often it's family and all of this, but there's still a bigger purpose, right? So these are the things that we always have to dip back into, and that's what we have to press like a button. The reason is, even if the reason is to do this job for X amount of years or time to get you to this stage, that's okay. That's what we want at the end. That means we have to go extra driven here to attain that. So the reason I say this for you is 2021 can be whatever you want it to do with income, sales, whatever you want. We just got to get clear on what we want. And more importantly, this is what we're going to look at today, is updating or becoming aware of what we don't want or what is already playing in our head or what is holding us back. So when we can realize those two differences, it becomes very easy to make a choice of who we're going to be. That version then steps into 2021, a different desire, a different drive, a different motivator. That's what we're going to do today. Sound good? Good. Good. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you a something. I want to show this because I've spoken about it many times. And this is something we're adding layers to. So you've heard me say about this many times probably by now, the heart brain, right? Well, I'm going to show you the science behind this quickly. The reason I want you to do this is, talking about traders as an example, well, how we're able to get someone out of the head, out of questioning themselves, out of anxiety, out of fear, out of overwhelm, out of beating themselves up from the past or getting anxiety about the future. How we're able to do all those things and make them present and in flow is the heart brain, okay? It's a straight neuroscience thing, and I want to show you about this. So when we drop into trance or brainwaves, all the things I've been teaching you, this is what we're actually connecting to. And from here, this is what connects you with intuition. It's what connects you with your client. It's what connects you with that feeling that you want to give them, okay? So let me move this Zoom thing so I can actually read stuff. Get out of the way, Zoom thing. Okay, so there you go. So heart, brain, and alignment. So I was going to get clients to see things from separate points of view. I asked them to speak from their heart and talk from their mind. Then I'd have them switch and speak from their head, talking to their heart. It was like two different people. And what I mean by that is, you already know, when we're in that old version of us, in that place, and we're in our head and we're constantly freaking out, guess what? That has such a different view of the world to someone who's present, or like you've just come out of meditation or been in church or whatever it is. You come out, you're in a very different place. That's the heart brain, okay? So the heart spoke from genuine feelings, its authenticity, and its present, right? The mind has opinions about things, judgments, fears, should, shouldn't. Very obvious and simple stuff, but understand this isn't just noise. No, this is actually neuroscience starting to show what happens. So did you know that the human heart, besides its normal functions, actually possesses a heart brain composed of 40,000 neurons that truly feel, sense, remember, and learn, right? This is connected to trauma, our nervous systems, and everything else. But the heart brain sends messages to the head brain and tells it how it actually feels. So in the 1990s, scientists made the assumption that they're taught through their educational system that the thoughts had nothing to do with the health or the body and the brain function. So what they basically used to think that the head would tell the brain, would tell the rest of the body exactly what to do. If the brain was damaged, then the rest of the body wouldn't function. It's not the case. And what they're also showing is I think I've explained this slightly before in a training before, but they put ECG scanner, okay? They then, with this ECG scanner on the heart, the frequency is going to be everywhere, like a normal heart rhythm, right? But what happens is, if we use the right emotions, love, happiness, all of these things, what happens is the heart frequency levels off. And this is the amazing bit. It tells or communicates with the amygdala or the brain, we are safe. What do you think that does? If we understand the brain is like an alarm system, right? Are you safe? Are you safe? Are you safe? You sure about this money? You sure about this client? You sure about this? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? That's what the amygdala, the fight, flight, or freeze response does, right? So when you feel you're going into anxiety or stress or anything like that, realize that all that's been switched on is your brainstem, the amygdala, the alarm. If your smoke alarm goes off in your house, what do? Do you freak out or do you stop the alarm? Right, you stop the alarm. It's the same thing. How we stop the alarm is by connecting with the heart brain. This switches on the intuition and all the things that I've said. So how we do that is exactly like I've shown you, but we're just teaching you the science behind it. So what we say in here. So we were taught that the heart brain sent information and commands to the heart exclusively, as I've just said, right? The amazing thing is the heart's complex intrinsic nervous system, the heart brain, is an intricate network of many types of neurons, neurotransmitters, proteins, support cells, found exactly the same thing in the head. So what they're actually finding is the liver and all of these things. Probably you guys probably know this more than me, some of you, but it's like they're actually finding that the liver and all these major organs actually have like brains, which is incredible. So do we need to know about that? No. So the massive benefits here, right? So it's called heart rhythm coherence. But what the massive benefits here are intuitiveness, brighter mental clarity, and cognitive function, and decision making. So I'm just trying to let read it in. I don't know how here. So yeah, when we come from that place, the cool thing about this is that everything begins to change. So we start to have and experience genuine and positive emotions like love and gratitude and compassion. And I use this because if you're talking to a potential client, where do we need to be each time? That's it. So the great thing about what Stephen's strategy is, and we only spoke to Stephen once, but I love his strategy. It was like he just carries on doing what he's doing. He's in very present, and then just goes in and does it. No setup, no nothing. It's great, right? It works because he's coming from his heart, he's being in the moment, and he's just taking care of it. For me, I need more setup than that, right? I have to set myself up. Stephen's just obviously brilliant, right? So this is the thing. So this is the way to do it. Because what happens is when we connect with our heart brain, again, the brain and body gets flooded with neurochemicals, biochemicals, you get it, and energy. So again, one more thing, clarity, intuition, and truth. So the reason I share the heart brain with you is because this is what we must start to practice. So being in between calls or clients, or even like over this holiday period, right? We're not pumping this muscle, which means what tends to happen is we start thinking about, oh, I'm going to come back to work, or I'm going to get a client. And then we start building this up inside of ourselves to actually be, oh, I'm going to go back to work, I'm going to do, and then it starts to be something it's not, right? And then what happens is these things can get linked together, and that can then be 2021, and we don't want that. So the idea here, every day, it takes 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds, 10 minutes, whatever you want. But doing the breath work like I've shown you, what this does is it drops the brain waves, connects us with our heart. And what that means is then if we can get used to feeling like that, this is the trick. We get used to feeling like that. What it means is when we go into anxiety, instead of it feeling a little bit normal or ramped up, ready to go, no, it's anxiety. What that means is then that feels so strange that we move back to here. For years, I thought anxiety was being revved up, ready to go. I thought that was being amped up. If I wasn't in that place of like, let's go, then I thought I wasn't ready. But it's not the case, right? It's not the case. So I want you to really start to notice these differences, okay? Actually, I'll email everyone the screenshot because I was going to talk about binaural beats and I want everyone to start playing with them over the holidays, but we'll talk about that a little later. So that's my first lesson for the day, right? It doesn't matter what pressure you're under. We can come from our head, get out the amygdala response into our heart, and then we can connect with people from there. And we want to practice this every day, especially with the holidays, especially with family, right? So if you're going to all freak out, we need to be connected to here. Make sense so far? Any questions? Simple? Right. Simple. But this, honestly, truthfully, it's very obvious and simple. But this one thing, besides anchoring and state changing, this is probably the biggest thing. I literally suffered with a chronic anxiety for years and just didn't know. I just didn't know. And it's only over the past maybe, 4 that I've really understood the difference in the way I feel. It's like, wow, I was living my whole life like that and thought that was normal. I still did well, but what's doing well, really? You know what I mean? Are we talking finances, money? What's that? No, I want to be at peace. I want to be calm. I want to be happy. I want to be present. I want to enjoy the people around me, right? It's not all about making money, right? It's not. It's far, far from it. And you all probably know very, very, very rich people. And I've looked behind the scenes at the moment, and it's the fulfillment that makes people happy, right? It's the fulfillment. And that's a very personal thing, what's fulfilling. And like I said about the traders before, if we link their focus, instead of accumulating, to then every time they made money, they helped the kid and they got to see that kid and then they got to shake their hand, their motivation, their drive, everything will go up through the roof. So I want you to start thinking in the back of your head what this is. Because get your pens and papers out, because we're going to start to jump into finding out what these things are now. Okay, beautiful. Any questions so far? Everyone good? We have a quiet group, except for when they get on with me, and then they don't. So there you keep talking to me. Okay, so let's jump into this. I want that as one page. So let me do that. Continuous thumbnails, continuous single page. Okay, let's enlarge that. Okay, didn't like it. Okay, could everyone see that though? Okay, so the idea is here. Okay, we've explained this before, but we're just showing you what we're doing. Okay, so we have our conscious and unconscious. Explain this, right? So conscious, we need a toolbox. That's talk therapy, which psychologists do. What we do is a toolbox. This is to interrupt patterns, change state, change focus, sort your internal dialogue out, change emotion. That's what your toolbox is for in your conscious mind. Unconscious, software. Software that plays in the background of your head. That's like the software that plays in the background of a computer, okay? That's your unconscious mind. Just letting Mr. Rodney in. So what here we're going to do is we're going to look at what is automatically installed in your head right now. The reason I say this is this becomes one of the most important things we can do for every aspect of our life, business, income, everything. Because the way you're thinking about the future, the past, yourself, your beliefs, everything, it's already pre-programmed, right? It's already in there. And it's making you think, feel, and act a specific way. It's making you react a certain way. And guess what? It doesn't matter who we are or what success. There is always a next level for our growth. So the first step is to start looking at what's going on inside, okay? So what I'm going to do is we're going to do a bit of breath work. Going to play some music, and then we're going to go on a journey, right? So everybody, get used to going inside today, because we're going to go and play. Because I want really everyone to know what's happening in their head and what's going on. So let me see. This Zoom thing drives me a little crazy because you can't see things. I'm sure there's a hack for this. I need to talk to one of you guys about. But okay. Anyway, so stop sharing and then I'll share again. Okay, so everybody just close their eyes for me for a second. That's it. And I just want you to take 3 big, deep breaths for me. Just feeling what it feels like to breathe in and have your lungs full. Feeling what it feels like to breathe out and have your lungs completely empty. That's it. And your unconscious mind just begins to tune into the sound of my voice, which allows you to feel this way easier and easier every time we do this. Which from this moment on allows you to just be calm, relaxed, present, heart-centered. So you can allow yourself now to be the best version of you. What would happen if we just allowed ourselves now to think about 2021 a different way? a special way. A way that we've never been before. More upgraded version of us. If we allowed ourselves now to step outside ourselves and become someone we always knew we were, what would we need to leave behind us in 2020? What emotions? What beliefs? Would you allow yourself to just start thinking of these things now? I want you to open your eyes and simply pick up your pen. And just start writing. It's called an idiomotor response. And what that means is that whatever comes out your head is exactly what it should be. And the first thing is, in 5 years, what do you see yourself doing? If you could take all the boundaries off what's possible, what would you be doing? Where would you be? Just write out what comes up. Would you be doing sales, or career, looking for proposals, looking for business? Is it about lifestyle? Is it about freedom, time? You could imagine your perfect day in 5 years. What comes up? How would your health be? Relationships, friendships. Be as descriptive as you can. If I could read it, and I would be able to do it perfectly. The type of people around you, type of network. Those people in your life already, or do you need to bring them in? What beliefs do you have about yourself? What's your attitude to each client that potentially comes in front of you? Just keep writing whatever comes out. What we're doing here is creating a moment, a scene that we're going to put into your brain. And you're going to be then able to see it every day. You know what clothes are you wearing? What income you have? How many hours a day are you working? Who are you helping with the money that you're earning? You can keep going on and on. Just another minute or two with this one. No boundaries, play full out. Maybe it's closing X amount of deals with the call, so then you can invest in something, and that investment then does this for you, which creates this for you. Think it all the way through. Is there something that becomes a non-negotiable? It has to happen. For me, I have to live in the sun. I have to be near the beach. Non-negotiable. I have to be free. And I will do whatever it takes to make that happen. It causes problems sometimes, but that's what it is. But what is it for you? And then we're going to move on in a second. So just wrapping that up for the next 30 seconds. And then, what I want you to do here is, what we want to look at is what movie or memory comes up, what emotion comes up, and you can go a bit further, how intense is this emotion, and we can even go to location. But what I want you to notice is what movie or memory comes up and what is the emotion, okay? And then what we're going to go through is I want you to write down the very first thing that comes into your head. Not the second. Don't adjust it. There's no right or wrong answers. What we're looking for is what is pre-programmed, okay? So whatever comes up when I start running through these words in a moment, you just write them down. The memory, the word, anything that comes up, you write them down. Because then we know what we can change, okay? So back to the music. So the first one is money. When I say the word money, what thought or feeling comes up? The first one. Doesn't matter what it is. What's the first thought or feeling? Write it down. There's 30 seconds on each of these. Success. What comes into your mind when I say the word success? What does it mean to you? Success. Is it income, a lifestyle, attainment? What is this? What's success? And you can keep going, guys, if you see them on the screen. Just business. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're not, maybe you want to be, maybe you don't. But what does business come on? Could be the whole business, could be the whole separate business, could be whatever. What's business? What thought, what feeling comes up? What about relationships? Personal friendships or partners? What's your relationships? What comes up? What about happiness? What comes into your mind when I say the word happiness? Is it a thought, a feeling, attainment again, an idea? What's happy? Is it a feeling? Where is the feeling in your body? Not easy questions, but they're always the right ones. What's going to make you happy? 2021. What's going to make you happy? Is it $1 million a year? Or is it just simply having time? What about fear? Once you've done that one again, there's no rush. We've got a little bit of time. What's fear? What comes up fear when you think about 2021? What scares you? Okay, we can change it. In the future. And the past. The first thing that comes up. Not the second. Because we can be very clever and write the answers that we want to see. Not really what is there. For me, the past, I don't want to ever go there. Don't like it. So for me, the past is grey, it's dark, don't want to do it. So it keeps me motivated to move into the future. The future, big, bright, clear, I know where I'm going. What about love? What comes up? Is it a person, place, thing, event? What comes up? And there's no right or wrong, and you're the only one who's going to see. And the final one there is you. What's the first thought and feeling that comes into your head when you think about yourself in 2021? There was an answer. Starting to wrap that bit up. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, interesting. Anybody want to share anything? Write it. Was it a little aha that popped up? I even had one when I thought about the past. Right there. It's like, wow, I've done 1 billion hours of work myself, and the past still is something, you know, I cleaned it up and it's cleaned up, but it's like I don't even want to touch it. I don't even want to touch it. That's an aha for me, because that was great. It was blurred. Future, woof, I'm pumped. So is anything that, like money, was it anything pop up that was interesting around money? Right? Was it what you wanted? Was it what you didn't want? Right? Because if it's what you don't want and there's fear there, then guess what we need to adjust? The image that you're seeing. That's that simple, right? We can adjust, because how is it someone can be broke and someone else can be a trillionaire? You're telling me someone's better than somebody else? No, they're not. It's just what's programmed in their head and what they're seeing. So I want you to understand this. If you next year, in 2021, want to break all your financial boundaries and goal, then guess what? You need to see that really, really clear, right? And even though, yeah, but Andy, I've earned this money this year and I didn't see it. Right, okay. So guess what's going to happen? You're going to hit a boundary. That boundary means that that amount is now formed a boundary, and your brain unconsciously is going to want to try and beat it. Because if it gets below it, you're going to probably feel sad. If you get above it, you'll feel happier. So get what it means. It means we've got to level up. So if we programmed in our brain that we've taken our boundaries off, then we know that every client we're going to go full on in. We know we're state changing. We know we're using our internal dialogue. We know we're using brain waves. We know that we're doing all of these things, visualization, morning routines. Then guess what? We know that that's what's required to hit that next level. Athlete, right? Sports person. Do they train? Yes. Do they want to train? No. But they want to compete and they want to win. And that's the way we need to go into 2021. Doesn't matter what's happening now. Doesn't matter ups and downs, highs and lows, leads or not. It's irrelevant, man. 2021, you will go into being who you decide now to be. If you don't decide to go in and up level and do all these little tweaks and tune-ups, then what happens is you're going in with the same programming from last year. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. It just depends on what you want. And that's why we're getting through this and we're getting clearer and clearer. Good so far? Good. So what I will do now is we'll jump into the next bit. Okay. So let me just double check on this page. I want to do this one. Okay. And I like to do this one because everyone sets goals, attainments, does all of this stuff. But, we don't really look at ourselves, actually properly look at ourselves and why we are unique, why we are special, why we got hired, why we win, why we kick butt, right? So this is why I come up with this section. What makes you awesome, right? Know thyself. Because here's the difference, right? It's not arrogant or egotistical to be aware of your natural talents, what you love and what your strengths are. Your unique abilities are what make you you. Most people were taught to suppress their uniqueness growing up, right? I don't know about, I was left-handed, apparently. I was writing with my left hand, and then the teacher tells you to write with your right hand, and you get told off about your left hand. Stupid things. But these little things start to build up and create a different pathway forward. So most people were taught to suppress their uniqueness. For this reason, it can often take people a lifetime to figure out what or who they are, what gifts they have, and to give themselves permission to express them to their fullest. The people who can, guess what they do? Those are the people that become Jeff Bezos, right? So this is what we're going to go through next. We're going to actually go a little deep dive. And we can do a little breath work a few minutes before, a minute before, but we can just jump straight in. But I want you to expand out of sales for this. And it could be involved in sales, because that could be definitely some of your superpowers. But I want you to look at you as a human being, okay? I want you to go back to memories maybe that people have said, good things that you're really good at, or you've noticed things you're good at, or even in sales, what is it specifically that really you love about it? So let's go through this. So, crew, there we go. The end of episode 290. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something from it. Obviously, this is I think we're 30 minutes in or 36 minutes in from a 1 hour, 60-minute training or 50-minute training, I think. So it's there. But come over to the incubator group, and I'm going to set that up in there so you can see the full thing. Also, here is your opportunity for 2021. Today, you can go and get your morning dialed in unconsciously. Actually tune your brain up. You're not going to be writing little messages and stuff just using your conscious mind. No, we take things to a whole new level, and this is working with the unconscious software, your brain software. So you right now can go to FireMind.me and you can grab your morning audio for free today. That's it. Yeah. It's going to take you through some awesome stuff, and I really hope you love it. In fact, I know you're going to love it, and you can email me at any time. Okay, much love. Here we begin, 2021. I am pumped. Let's make this your best year ever together. And oh yeah, one more thing. Why don't you smile for me?
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode of the Mindset by Design podcast with your host and NLP expert, Andy Murphy. We'll catch you next time.